Kick-ass facts, the last in our series on mishaps. Pew, 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 pew! The French blood scandal of the 1980s. In France, it was discovered that hemophiliacs had been given blood products that were contaminated with HIV and hepatitis C, even after tests were available to detect the viruses. French health officials knowingly allowed the distribution of contaminated blood products because they were prioritizing national production over safety. The scandal resulted in criminal charges against health officials and led to stricter blood safety regulations in France and around the world. The Toronto Star's misreporting of the HPV vaccine in 2015. The Toronto Star, one of Ontario's leading newspapers, ran a front-page story suggesting that the HPV vaccine Gardasil caused serious harm to young women, leading to a panic and a drop in vaccination rates. The article focused on anecdotal evidence and ignored large-scale scientific studies that showed the vaccine was safe. The fen-phen diet drug scandal in the 1990s. Fen-phen, a combination of fenfluramine and phentermine, was a popular weight loss drug in the 1990s. However, it was linked to serious heart valve damage and pulmonary hypertension in users, leading to numerous deaths and permanent injuries. The FDA approved the drug without adequate long-term safety studies. As the drug became more widely prescribed, serious side effects emerged. The drug was pulled from the market, and the case led to large settlements for the victims. The measles vaccine scare of 1998. A now, all caps, yelling it from the rooftops, debunked study by Andrew Wakefield falsely linked the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to autism. The study caused a widespread panic, leading to a significant drop in vaccination rates and a resurgence of measles in many countries. Wakefield's study was based on fraudulent data, and his financial conflicts of interest were not disclosed. However, the paper was initially published in a reputable medical journal called The Lancet. The damage to public health has been profound as anti-vaccine movements still persist today. The scandal led to heightened scrutiny in medical research, retractions, and stricter peer review processes, but the legacy of vaccine hesitancy remains a public health issue. DES tragedy, 1950s to 1970s. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. DES was a synthetic estrogen prescribed to millions of pregnant women between the 1940s and 1970s to prevent miscarriages. Decades later, it was discovered that DES did not prevent miscarriages and caused several birth defects and cancers in the daughters, and to lesser extent sons, of the women who took it. The drug was prescribed without adequate long-term studies, and the pharmaceutical companies promoted it ignored early warning signs of harm. This led to stricter regulations for drug approval, particularly for use in pregnant women, and a bunch of lawsuits. The long-term health consequences of DES exposure are still being studied today. Last on our list is the Willowbrook State School hepatitis study, 1950s to the 1970s. At Willowbrook State School in New York, researchers intentionally infected mentally disabled children with hepatitis to study the progression of the disease and the effects of a potential vaccine. The researchers claimed, get this, that the children would have been exposed to hepatitis anyway due to the institution's unsanitary conditions. So fuck them kids, right? However, the children's parents were not fully informed about the nature of the experiment, and the ethical standards were grossly violated.